My intention with Street Stories Inspiration for Recovering is to interview people who are really experiencing being unhoused and people who have been in long-term recovery, and to find out what the gaps in the system are to get them from one place to the other. I hope that people will be inspired by this to realize that maybe it's not as hard as we think to build those bridges.
Christina, why is it you chose to do this documentary?
I have a loved one who's struggling with substance disorder and then also mental health issues. So I was trying to help him, and I realized that there were so many gaps in the system. So I wanted to ask people who have experienced this what they feel like the gaps are. I've seen some documentaries with a lot of talking heads from different organizations, but nothing really from the people. And there might be ones out there that I just haven't seen. So that was my interest in finding people that were willing to tell their stories and that they would know firsthand what the gaps in the system were.
How do you feel the world at large will feel about the story that you're trying to tell?
Well, I don't know, because my job as a storyteller is to just kind of hold up a mirror and see how people feel about it. I can tell you what I would hope. I would love for us to interview people about the gaps in the system, and then to interview those gaps. Not necessarily those gaps, but like, where can we build bridges? So as an example, there are no more engagement centers. So if somebody wants to go to the hospital, they're at the hospital for 5 days and then they want to go to rehab, it will take them 14 days to get into rehab. So where do they go in between? Back to the streets and back to their habit, which takes them back to their hospital. And so what I want to do is the first rung is interview the people, and the second rung is to interview, Michigan Medicine, Dawn Farms. Why is there not a bridge between the two of you? Is it funding? What is it? Where are the blocks? So my hope is that people watching this will feel inspired both by the stories, and that they feel impacted, that they can do something, that they feel empowered. And they're like, because it feels like such a huge problem. But if we just focus on the gaps, maybe we can build bridges.
Where else might we want to do these interviews to compare and contrast various regions, various cities, and how they handle?
So as an example, a girlfriend of mine wrote to me and she said that there's an organization in Las Vegas that is doing very well at getting people back on their feet. So, seeing where the solutions are in other cities and seeing if there's a way that we can apply that to our city.
And is there any particular gaps at this point that you see that would be useful to be filled?
Well, the lack of engagement centers, that was the one that I mentioned, and then also the long-term healthcare. The long-term, of course, healthcare in general is an issue, but there's basically no place that you can go to get long-term mental health care. If you are changing someone's medications, it takes at least 2 weeks to see a change. But the hospitals can only keep you in the hospital for 5 days. So people are being sent back out on the streets, and the doctors don't know what the implications are of the medications that they're giving them.